to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
A motion by Bo. Second. Second by David. All in favor? 7-0. Now we just need a motion to approve the consent agenda. Just remember if you have any conflicts, to abstain. Other than that, I just seek a motion.
I need to abstain from check number 49199. And I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Got a motion by Ashley,
Second.
second by Amanda. All in favor? 7-0. Moving on. Presentations, high school leadership class.
Madeline is here to present the leadership class. You want to talk a little bit about that, Ms. Mayor, real quick? Just give them a quick prelude of what that class does.
Yes, we started out with a class called Project Accelerus, that we received the opportunity. We started out as one of 6 schools across Kansas and Missouri, piloting it, and then that worked really well for us, and so then we added it the next year, but changed some names on it and the way that we did it, and we turned it into what they called the leadership class, and it focuses on something called Ikigai. That's a European word for finding what you're passionate about, what you're good at, what the world needs, and fitting all those things together to change and improve our world. And so that's what those students work on in those classes. They have to start with the project, and they have to see it from beginning to end. Some of the times the projects work out, and sometimes they learn that projects don't work out, and then they have to regroup and start again, and really a real life experience of what it is to be in a working position, but also to learn how to work with their peers, who works well together, who doesn't work well together. If you're an independent worker, they really find out about themselves in that class. We offer it at the high school level and at 8th grade this year. So, Madeline, see this year.
Hello everybody, I am Madeline Edwards. I was asked to come here today in order to talk about our high school community garden. In my group there is myself, Theron Cleethurmis, Xander High, Lily Hampton, and Emmett Haas. Before I begin, I would like to start off with a few, hold up guys, went too far there. First, I would like to start off with this picture. This shows kind of where our garden beds are currently located. They're on the south end of the playground, also directly across from the Knights of Columbus Hall. I would like to give a few,
You're doing great, girlfriend.
Just pick
You
it up and put it
keep
back on.
Okay, you got this.
Me and my clumsiness always got something. I would like to give a couple thanks. First, I would like to give some thanks to the Hunsberger family. Ms. Hunsberger has been very helpful, not only as our teacher, but also in helping us to get the supplies that we need, helping maintain and keep up with the garden. I would also like to thank Mr. Kevin Street. Without Mr. Street, I do not know where we would be. It was such a struggle in order to find the materials to make the garden beds. After a while of looking around, we finally found Mr. Street, and he was willing to make up some purlin beds. Not only did he make them, but he also donated them completely free of cost and delivered them directly to the school. So we're very appreciative of that. The reason after months, we're finally able to present this to you, and we are so extremely grateful for all the help that's been put in, as well as very proud of everybody and extremely excited. This is such a lengthy project, and we're very happy that it's finally come together. The reason we bring this to you is because we believe this will be very beneficial for the community. Although not commonly talked about, there is still food insecurity within our community. Although we currently don't have a lot of beds and food within it, we still believe that it could provide food for our community. Also provides an educational opportunity. We believe this could be helpful to things such as the elementary students, For like summer school, they could come and learn about the plant cycle, they could learn how to maintain a garden, even kind of just get their hands dirty, have the feel of it, kind of just for fun. It could even be beneficial to plant science classes or any of our high school science classes. We also do this in order to improve the school's overall look, as well as show people outside of the school the impact that classes like this can have inside of our school. We also hope that this will be able to bring our community together. It's such a big project, although it started off really small and we only have a few garden beds right now. We hope to later expand, and we want the community to be able to come together and help us with this. It's something that you can have fun with, or even could just be helpful to the community overall. For our future plans, we plan to get more beds. When Mr. Street had originally brought the beds, he had told us that if we ever needed any more, we could get them. At the time, we didn't think we would need any more, especially since we were already so thrilled that he had already given us 2, and they were so expensive to make. We didn't want to overwhelm him with what was going on, but at this time, we're kind of starting to look at maybe to getting more beds. With the beds, we want to give more of a variety of vegetables and fruit. Right now, we only have bell peppers, we have a strawberry bed, we have some cucumbers, tomatoes, and some herbs. We originally had some okra and a few other things, but with the amount of rain we've been having lately, some of the okra and stuff didn't exactly survive. It kind of overdid them just a tad bit, so we're hoping to get some more in there. We actually just got approved to get more plants, and we're gonna go pick those up pretty soon and get that dealt with. We also hope to improve the landscape around it. We kind of are hoping to get either some rock or some mulch to lay out around it, so that way if it's ever rainy and muddy, or just for the overall look, you can get around it. We want to get some fencing, although there's not a ton of animals that would be around it considering where it's at. There's still dogs, cats, just animals around that could get into it, and we don't want to ruin the effect. As well as we want to add some benches, just kind of make it a homey place in order for people to come and experience the food and the fun within it. We also hope to get some flowers, kind of improve the area. There's some certain flowers that will keep bugs away. Miss Metter had told me multiple times to get some marigolds. We're looking into that. So we hope to do some things like that. This is my vision board. Not very much going on here, but kind of just gives an overall effect. We have a few little libraries around town with the little bookcases that have some books inside of them. We hope to maybe get one of those within the area, kind of like I said earlier, just to bring in that homey effect. We want people to be able to come and enjoy the experience. Also, put the benches in, like I had said, and the fences. This kind of shows a general idea of like things that the art classrooms could help with. They could paint on top of them, kind of have fun with that, experience that, help understand what's going into it and the work. This is kind of just shows the gardens itself. Right now we have like 2. We're hoping to get somewhere around 6 to 8 within the future. That's a lot, but with time we should be able to manage that. As I'm sure you're wondering right now, where are we getting this all from with the cost? It's so expensive. We've already put $150 into it without the donations that have already been included. We did this by fundraising. We did a bake sale and a few other things. Everybody helped out a lot, and we're very thankful for that. Right now what we have bought is plants, garden tools, tomato cages, watering cans, and adjustable nozzles, as well as the maintenance and stuff at school are looking into getting us a hose. We already have a source of a water spigot near to get the water there, so that stuff's already provided for us, and we're very grateful for that. But we're still going to be looking into cost of more stuff, because it's not something that we're just going to be able to leave there and it's going to keep growing and stuff. It's stuff we got to look further into, so it's going to be costly, so we kind of have been looking more into that. We hope that this will continue to grow and help the community. For that, I am very thankful for you guys listening and taking in what I'm saying. Are there any questions?
I just want to share, I know you may have some questions, Madeline, there's lots of projects that Madeline has worked on. I would say that she's probably a team leader within those groups, saying, hey, let's do this, let's try that. When they first came to me, I said, okay, but how are we going to afford it? And so then that sent them back to the drawing boards of like, okay, well, how are we gonna afford this? You know, and they work through those things together. There are other things in the school that when you come in and see the banners that now hang in the high school hallway, that came out of the leadership class, a group that said, let's make our school look better. I said, how do you wanna make it look better? And then they have to work their way through that as a team and what they think they need to put there. Then they have to learn how to come to administration and ask questions and be patient with administration of making appointments. Like, you can't just come in, you know. So they've had to learn the circle of starting it to finishing it, which I think they've done a good job, and I'm very pleased with those classes.
Very good.
Thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Good job, kiddo.
Good job.
Yes, good job. Next, we got our reports here. You go first.
I'm up. Good news to report. Mike Kelly and I met with Martin Energy last week. We met with Lindsay Felton there and Andrew Kutkuler, and they have committed to open pre-apprenticeship opportunities to our students. They're willing to interview prospective candidates while they're still in high school. Those will probably be seniors for positions as they become available as pre-apprentice structural welders and or electricians. They also have provided a list of job duties and have committed to helping students achieve OSHA 30 certifications and possibly others, so they're open to that. Mike and I really appreciated their professionalism, willing to help us help students build their future in Montauk County, and that's part of our CSEP, is to continue to develop these kind of connections. Senate Bill 727 did pass. The governor did sign that omnibus. It has a lot of good and bad provisions. It's about 167 pages long, so for the next 2 hours I'll be reading that. No, I will not. Just give you the highlights. The legislation will raise next year by law the minimum salary for teachers to $40,000 and $46,000 for teachers with a master's degree plus 10 years of experience. That's year 25-26. Unfortunately, this move to raise teacher salaries is subject to a yearly appropriation. It may or not be funded by the state. And just to remind you all, we've taken a grant to raise our salaries to $38K to the minimum for the last 2 years, minimum in our district, and many districts across the state have done that because they were all below $38K. This grant brought an additional $120,000 to us to make up that difference. That's how much it would cost us if we did it on our own. Between our current $33,500 minimum salary. So that grant, I know some confusion and say, well, why wouldn't you take that grant and use it to pay teachers who have been here a while, tenured, they're doing a great job, they're the people you want to keep and retain? Because you can't. It's never applied to that group of teachers, but there's some information out in the community that think that's what we were able to do, and that's not the case. It was only for those that were below 38K. This next grant, again, so let's not get confused. So there's two separate things going on. The law will go into place for 25-26. That's when the new minimum salary, which is now $25,000, it's going to go to 40. The state, it's a yearly appropriation. Most people who are looking at it are saying they'll think it will be all or somewhat funded by the state. There's no guarantee of that. It's year to year, year to year. So we may find 1 year that we roll up and we're sitting at 33.5 and the state says, well, there's no funding for that. And you're required by law to offer at least that minimum salary. There are a lot of districts across the state that are dealing with a low operating levy like we are, and will find themselves in that situation. Well, what do we do now? So there you go. The grant, which is for this coming school year, is not part of Senate Bill 727. So what the state decides to do, they could, and this is kind of what we've seen in the past in education, is that, well, we're going to do it 50-50. You see that with a lot of grants that come through school, or you see it 75-25, or you might see 100%. You just don't know. And The last time I checked this morning, they were still going through a filibuster, so maybe they'll finish up all their business in Jefferson City. We're kind of in that holding pattern. We do know that it's in the budget right now for 100% to get us to 40,000, so the board have to make a decision whether we're taking that grant or not. I think we should. As long as they're providing it, we should be taking it. Those are the two things that I had to share. Let's see if I got something else here. Oh, also, our community open forum will be, and finance meeting will be on June 26th. I'll present the preliminary budget on where we are based on the people we've hired and as best we can tell on what the state is going to do or not going to do. We will talk more about salaries then as well. We might do some of that on the 12th as well, in the middle of the month. I think that the 12th is our June meeting, regular June meeting. But we'll need to pass a budget by law by June 30th. So that'll be our best estimate of what we believe the state will be giving us one way or the other and what our local revenue will be. Other than that, there is a list there. We're starting to grow a list. We have 3 or 4 speakers so far for that open forum time, and they're requesting how much time they're wanting to spend with us, usually about 5 or 10 minutes. And that's our time to listen to the community and see what is on their mind. So, what questions do you have for me? And also, I think I put the descriptions right there, those long links in your board report there actually show the descriptions of those 2 positions Martin interviewed about opening up. So you can see those as well. Done.
Does anybody have anything? No? Perfect, moving on. The other reports are there in front of you. You guys have any questions for any of our other administrators?
We had our last day today.
I really think Miss Patty needs to play with me. I'll make a motion. It will make you laugh, guaranteed.
Has everybody seen it here?
David, have you seen this video?
No,
I'll have to get it up for you
I
guys.
second the motion then.
Okay.
We finished our last day of school
Today
today.
was the last day of school, did you guys know? It was
It
the last day of
was
school.
the last day of
We're
school.
there.
And you're here
And we're
tonight.
still smiling. Yeah, everybody's good.
Mrs. Basinger visited with me. She would like to extend an invitation to all of you to the baccalaureate services that are at 7 o'clock on Friday night in the high school gym. That's hosted by our Ministerial Alliance. I believe you probably got an invitation from her. That's happening. Graduation, if you're not for sure, is at 3 o'clock on Sunday. Love to have all of you there. That's going on. End of the year
Arrival
events.
time is 2:30.
What, arrival time for you guys is 2:30, okay. Summer school is moving forward. Our sophomores visited the Holocaust museums that were held in St. Louis. It's a part of the requirements that we have to do. That was an exceptional trip, I think, for them. I've run, on your report, you can see the PBS data report as far as second semester incidents. It's further on down in the report. I gave you an update of where our students tested on their final tests and evaluate. That's also in there. I just before I came over here, I finalized grade reports, and so we'll finish sending out the report cards tomorrow. But at present, I have 18 high school students and 12 middle school students that will need credit recovery during summer school or that 5th quarter class to help them move forward.
We have summer school enrollment right now is at 192. We were at 150 last month and it just keeps growing, arms and legs quickly. So 192 kids signed up for that. We have some PD going on this summer. DESE just released their first ever literacy summit at the lake. So I have Stacy Crane, Roxanne Whitworth, Amanda Simon, and myself are gonna attend that. We also received in the past we've received gold level reward from PBS, and they have redone the structure of that a little bit this year. So it is called the Tier 3 Award of Excellence, and Mrs. Lawson is the district PBS coordinator, and so she filled out the application for that, and we once again received it. So that's good news. We finished kindergarten screening, and it looks like we're gonna have about 31 in kindergarten, so smaller, but nice size, it looks good. I was telling the teachers and I were talking, we feel like the kindergartners the last 2 years have been really ready to enter, and so we're excited to have them. It's gonna be good.
I have a question about summer school. So the bigger, faster, stronger is not happening, is that correct? The weights is taking place of that, is that correct?
The Bigger, Faster, Stronger program is there. It'll be it'll be a virtual and on-site class is what I understand. Mr. Culpepper has been working on that with Dr. Robinson and Coach Duke.
Well, a lot of people have asked because they weren't sure if they should sign the kids up for the weights thing too, if they're already doing the bigger, faster, stronger.
What we've done, we
So-
put them in the computer, Amanda, is I've had Carrie put both the kids who signed up with me, that the parents have expressed to me that they want them on site from 8 to 10 in the morning. Some of them have said, we're not able to do the evening, or some of them have said, no, we're gonna go do the weights in place of what was there. Tomorrow, that's one of the things on Haley and I's check-off list of like, who are the crossover, because some people signed up with Culpepper and Duke, and there are others who signed up with me.
Okay.
And so I have to do a cross checklist to say, okay, do you want your kids here from 8 to 10? Or where you want, because I did have some parents probably that reached out to you or some of the rest of you who said, I want my kid there in school 8 to 10 in the morning, I don't wanna do the weekends, nights, or whatever. And then there are others who said, I don't wanna do that, so we're gonna try to make it happen for
I just
both.
was making sure both weren't happening, so. Well,
They
I guess
are,
can't
but they're
have-
happening together in
Okay.
unison as a virtual class.
Okay.
So it's gotta be some sorting that's done tomorrow between Haley and I.
We're working on 24/7 also.
Were there other questions on that?
No, that was
I know I had some questions come up about the virtual pieces of it. And so I've tried to answer those as they come to me, but there's some other things that Mr. Culpepper probably knows that I don't.
No, that's the first I actually heard about it being a virtual.
That's how it will be offered.
A portion of it, right? Like it's happening at the weight room, but then there's some.
There's some online
portions.
components that they'll have to do.
Okay, so it's a little bit more.
Healthy recovery, all that stuff, like a health class almost online.
My turn?
Your turn.
My turn. And you saw in my report that probably the most important, not the most important, but one of the things that we're most proud of is we are now recognized as a unified partner school.
Yeah, we received our state banner, so we were recognized with a special banner for the Special Olympics. So we will have that hopefully hung soon. The kids were pretty proud of that. They understood what that meant when I showed it to them, because we talk about it all the time. So we finally got that one fancy banner. So we're one down, we got one more to go.
No. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you all, is especially since it's the time of the year that everyone's graduating and moving on to career and post-secondary kinds of activities, we have a program that the University of Missouri provides for us called the PREETS program. It's the Pre-Employment Transition Services program. And I have two of the representatives from that program. They're gonna talk a little bit about the program and then share an exciting
Yes,
thing for Tipton.
yes, which you want.
And this is Chelsea, you're here once a month.
Sure am.
Yep. And she works with Janelle and with Anna, and you're gonna
We're
be
gonna make her
coming.
come to summer school.
Yes, I'm gonna come visit some of the ESY kiddos. Okay. I wrote something, so bear with me. All right, good evening, everyone. I am Chelsea Dyer, part of the Pre-ETS Transition Services. I'm one of the specialists that works here at Tipton High School. My job is to visit students with disabilities and aid them in their transition to prepare for outside of school, whether it would be to find or keep a job, or to go to a college or a trade school, or any part of that journey encountering into the life outside of school. Every year we recognize an outstanding teacher throughout Missouri who can go above and beyond the partner and collaborate with the Pre-ETS program to improve transition outcomes for those students. This year I have the privilege of recognizing a teacher from the Tipton School District. She has really gone above and beyond expectations with her students. She has provided them with many opportunities within the community to become successful citizens. Anytime another district's teachers need some guidance on how to best serve students with severe disabilities, I recommend her input for it. She is, on top of it all, she's always pleasant to be around, very supportive, open-minded, and always wears a smile. She believes she is still learning and doesn't seem to recognize the huge impact she is making. I feel so lucky to get to learn from her and work with her to provide the best possible outcome for her students. If anyone deserves to be a Teacher of the Year, it is someone like Anna. Thank you, Anna Diggs, for not only showing me what an amazing teacher is capable of, but showing your students too. So please take this certificate of appreciation.
Come on up here. Come on.
Yes, recognize you as a wonderful, wonderful teacher.
Make it easy.
Were you surprised?
Yeah, I had no idea.
All right, over here. And one more. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I don't have to give a speech, right?
Hopefully I covered it. Thank you, guys.
She thought she was in trouble when I asked her to come to the board meeting.
I almost gave it away a while ago when I talked to her.
So,
I didn't know she didn't know.
Nice.
so we finally got her some.
Hey, this is the second time Nancy surprised her staff to be letting you know.
Yes, we surprised Ashley Wood with her retirement celebration this morning, so had no clue. She just walked in and was like, oh. So
You're sneaky.
we did good. Any questions about the special services program? No.
I don't have anything. You're always on top.
Keep up the good work.
Any service?
That has been reviewed by our legal team. There are some differences in this contract. I think you saw the initial contract. We did go back and go through some finer points and make sure that the Durham contract that was offered reflected what our RFP said, and they're probably the main piece in there. We all know we've had some difficulties with transportation probably over the last 7 years that we wanted addressed. So there are some liquidated damages pieces if they don't follow through with this. Gives them a chance to settle into the school year, but then after that, they should have all the kinks worked out and we should be going smoothly. So they were okay with that. Went back and forth a little bit, but I think we have a good result, and I also appreciated Ed Council with some of their suggestions as well. So it's not just a Dr. Robinson approval, we also have one of the best, I think, legal firms in the state who has looked this over and sees a lot of these contracts, so there you go. There's our contract.
Any questions about that?
Says $1 per year, is that the old ag building? On the lease agreement?
That's next door. Here. And then being able to park up there on the hill as needed buses.
Next door for office space.
Yes, sir. That'll save us close to $100,000 a year being able to offer that space, those spaces for them. Not a year, sorry, over 5 years.
Have we had anybody interested in leasing that space?
No, we had some calls, but no one actually came out and looked at it.
Do you remember what our lease agreement was before? I don't even know if we could
She was
share.
$750 a month. That's fine, that's public knowledge.
Just a annual, just a yearly deal, wasn't it?
What's that?
A yearly lease. They were over here.
Yeah, it was just, if we could have given it, there's no decision point.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there not adequate office space at the old ag building?
They had requested the office specifically,
This office specifically?
this office, right, and then they asked for, places to park buses, so. Yeah, the space, which is a good thing.
So it offset by 25,000 a year, is that what we're saying?
It offset over 5 years, it'd be 100,000 roughly total. Yeah, we're actually making more money off of it
That's more.
than we would if we rented it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And quite honestly, guys, having some buses up there on the hill, bright and yellow like that is a good thing. For when people start speeding through town, they see school buses and it's bright and yellow, and, oh, I need to slow down. They get the flashing light there, but, it's not a bad thing to see some buses on the hill and wake up, stop drinking from Starbucks and slow down. Right.
I agree. Get off your phone.
Yep, get off your phone and drive. Pay attention.
So the motion to approve this recommendation, we've already approved. Right?
Just approving the contract. This contract is much more detailed than what we had prior. I reviewed several and found one out of Melville that gave me a lot of good ideas and then bounced them off of Ed Council. So, you see a lot more language in this and several more pages than what we used to. And I just had Ed Council check our work and suggest anything else they had they thought would be good in our interest.
Can you walk me through how the savings works?
They gave us a lower rate. I've got another sheet on that. They gave us a with and without.
Okay.
They gave us a bid with it and without, and then I calculated it.
That's what I was looking for through here.
Yeah.
So,
They gave us two different prices. You're right.
I have a question about the, like the liquidated damage
Yes.
thing. So would an example of them not fulfilling a contract, would that kind of be like whenever they are supposed to provide 5 buses and then at the end of the year they say, I don't have a driver, and then
Yep.
the kids have to ride for 3 hours?
There you go. You got it.
Because I'm now taking my kids to school to avoid an hour and a
I think
half
that's
bus
one of
ride and a 6:10 a.m. pickup.
Yeah.
Because they're not providing the service that they should be.
Go in here. I can tell you that I think I wrote one specifically for that. Page 1B. Running and scheduling.
Is this
15 on page 4.
This is a 5-year contract?
It's actually 3, but we can extend it, 4th or 5th year.
What happens when we get, into the second year and it's just not the services that we think we should be getting?
Well,
Can you answer that?
go ahead.
You can answer if you want.
Yeah, I mean, they're not meeting their contract, we can go back at them and basically say you're not meeting your contract, and we'll go by mutual agreement, we would get out of it within 30 days.
There's a clause in here for both termination for cause and a clause for termination for convenience. Which the convenience one's essentially saying if we choose, I think, not to move forward, is the way I read that. So, pretty good.
They don't get to hold the contract and not do the job. Not meet what we're asking them to do.
They haven't said anything about needing, like, they're not gonna try to put a fuel tank or anything on our premises unless they're gonna fill up locally or something like that.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
I just didn't want any more liability. You know, some, if they were, you know, some companies try to get their own fuel tank and then where they don't own the property, they'll, you know, we're liable, cause it's our,
That's on page 8. In the event a tank is required to be taken out of service, I guess that was your question.
all I see is on page 10, line 20, so I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I don't think they have any plans to bring them through here. What we've done in the past is we have our own fuel card, and we're covering the fuel part of it.
So usually the veteran, don't they? Do that?
They go right in the thing.
Does anyone have any questions? Any other questions of this before I do this? Alright, I'll move to make the motion to approve the, Durham bus service contract proposed.
I got a motion from Bo,
I'll second.
seconded by Ashley. All in favor? 7-0. Moving on, Fisher Trust Fund, you wanna touch on that a little bit
So
quickly?
that if you have any discussion or any questions about that, I did put, Paul McClure sent back to us, the trustee, that, they would be willing to allow that, donation to go toward, a multi-purpose facility if that is what the board wishes to do. There's a 2-year, I guess I can call it a sunset on that. You can see her letter there under that link and how she responded. There is some community conversation about some kind of a multi-purpose facility. It will definitely be more than the amount of that trust, but I know there's some conversation, and I believe Coach Duke and some others are planning to attend on June 26th, the open forum, to talk about that with you all. And I don't think we need to do anything, and we can just let it ride. You guys make your decision on how you wanna handle it. Unless there's a motion to not, allow that trust to be used in that way. We just prefer not to have that option, it's an option for the board.
Has that trust been established already?
They have, I've got the documents on it, they gave us a check for it though.
Well, that's where I was wondering. Is where
You're
the-
talking about for scholarships, you mean, have we established that?
Well, yeah, I was seeing if the money is somewhere growing or protected or something.
No, we're getting over 5% right now in our checking account, which is better than the CD rates that I checked here locally, which is surprising. But I checked with Galen at Tipton, and I checked over here in Commerce, and I'm like, we're getting more in our checking.
For that money,
Yeah.
so we have the money.
So we have it in an account where it's
Yeah.
accruing.
Yeah, it's right.
Who's the trustee for that?
Paul McClure.
Oh, she is still.
Well, they've already given it to us. We have it in our possession, they've sent us a check. So, we're just holding it right now, letting it accrue interest.
So what happens after 2 years? You just roll it
Then
back to the scholarship
Then
fund?
it's
or-
it's
The
their
money's,
desire
if
to
the
go
money's
back
not
to a scholarship
raised
fund.
by then for
Yeah.
this, is the way I understood it.
And they were completely fine with that approach to try to see if there's.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, then that letter that she wrote back,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can see what she said, yeah. Very nice lady. Really wanted to see if that's what the community wanted to do or not. We had several good discussions, so, it's there, it's an option.
I don't know about anybody else, but I've been approached by several people out in the community, and they wanted to go to scholarships. Now, that's people's opinions, and everybody has a right to their opinion, but I wanna see something concrete of how we're gonna pay the rest of that. And if anybody has a guesstimation of what this complex is gonna cost, and to, you know, how big is it gonna be, and,
Is that what Coach Duke's bringing, I assume?
That is.
That kind of stuff?
Yep.
okay.
That's my concern too, is that and yearly cost after, like who's in charge of that? You know, obviously I would say the school district, when it comes to schools. So that's a cost you gotta think about too, and upkeep of it.
Christmas, it'll take way more than
Yeah,
the
yeah,
donation.
absolutely.
The grateful donation is something, it'll be a substantial amount of money you're talking about.
It is nice though to have a little bit of time to try to look through all the options and try to make the best decision.
Yeah, I'm glad they put that in there, because then it's not just something you're talking about for years and nothing's getting done, so.
All right, anybody else got anything about that? Moving on to new business.
Well, I can just, I don't know if this is a good time since we already talked about
Oh,
scholarships.
yes, go ahead, sorry.
Just to give you guys an idea, we probably should vote on this every year on who's supposed to be doing this somehow. We have over the last
Oh, you're designated
7
for it.
years, and I don't mind doing it, but we have, just so everyone knows, we do have money that was left to the district years ago, and there's over $1 million in that account that we use for scholarships. We have that money invested with Lawrence Cooper, who does an awesome job for us. So we talk throughout the year on different types of things we're going to do with the investment piece of it. So essentially, once we get towards the this time of year in April, I call Lawrence up and ask him how much money we can give out in scholarships, and then we get applications from the school, and that this is all administered from the Board of Education. So this year, we are giving out, I think it's $67,450 in scholarships off of that, which is great. That's going to go between 45 students. And that is those are students that are both graduates, are seniors this year, and then I call them alumni, but people that qualify, either they were in the district prior or live in the district now. So you can actually come back as an alumni or somebody living within the district seeking secondary education for up to, you can receive the scholarship 5 times. So this year we had 25 seniors apply for it. I believe what we ended up doing was giving the seniors that are going to 4-year schools $2,400. Seniors that are going to 2-year schools receive $1,700 a piece, and then our alumni that are coming back are receiving $1,250 next year. So it's a good scholarship for us. So I thought I'd provide an update of that. So we'll hand out certificates, and they'll get acknowledged at the graduation this year for that.
Nice.
Thanks for being in charge of that, Bo. You do a great job.
Yeah, thanks. Lawrence does most of the work. I'm the paperwork guy.
So the first item in new business is the high school and elementary gym floors. You got some bids in front of you.
Have a date on that when they wanna do that?
We'll have to set that with him, Kelly. It's
Okay.
gonna probably be a week somewhere around there. They're so fast, they
Whatever's
can
going
get out.
I think that's what they do. I
I'm
think.
talking about Luber, who's done it before. You have to schedule it with him. That's what we're talking about now. I'll tell you who's gonna schedule it. Bob. Bob's scheduled it.
Dead period, Bob. We did dead period.
Get everybody off of it.
Weaver's always done it in the past.
Yes, Ruber has always done a good job for us.
Yeah, it is a safety issue. I mean, we've got to try to do this every year. We're going to end up having more risk for ACLs and all that other stuff on that floor. So,
Bob did a good job gathering up those bids. Anything you wanna add, Bob?
Well, that, and if you don't do it every year, you end up having to redo all the striping and everything, all the stuff that's on the floor, which is a big expense. So this is kind of a preventive maintenance also.
Make a motion on accepting Lubert's bid, reconditioned floors.
Mr.
school.
So we got a motion by Kelly. Second. Accept Weaver's bid, seconded by Derek. All in favor? 7-0.
This next one is just, Bob and I were showing a lot of bidders around. This is not something absolutely has to be done, we still have instruction about doing it. It's just one of those things we've kind of fallen into, trying to keep our gravel up where it's not potholed and well enough with water, and we have a lot of traffic. So we're maintaining gravel. These bids would take care of the main, gravel pit, which is next to the Ag Center, and then shore up some of our gravel on the hill a little bit and grade that. So it would take those two areas, and then, we've had a few of these bidders in the past talk to us about the area gets pretty pot marked right there next to the Ag Center. And as I looked at it, it's just my opinion that it would be, I liked one of their, and this has been a year or two ago, and they talked about just having some kind of an entry point there, right there at the Ag Center where the kids are walking into the Ag Center. They've got kind of a little porch right there in front, but then everything else is just the pot marked mud and gravel, and it's just, it gets run over a lot, everything from tractors to trucks to you name it. We might go ahead and concrete that, put a nice entry point there, and then you're into the gravel pit. But that's the board's prerogative, it's just my suggestion that in talking to a lot of these bidders in the past and thinking, that's not necessarily a bad idea, what would it cost? So I had a bid, so you guys could have it as an option.
I have a question on that.
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened with Dean Gibson doing it?
Now you're talking about the hill, right? Okay, so he has put some big, gravel up there recently. He's used that for about 20 years, to park his trucks. And he has probably put it on twice, maybe, since I've been here. It tends to be on that side next to his building, where he puts that. Nothing's really happened to it, other than it went down recently.
Well, cause he visited with me about it when he saw these bids go out and just
Yeah.
said that, you know, he likes to keep a good relationship with the school. And he said he's even offered to do the gravel down by the ag building.
Yeah, I had that phone call as well. That's the first phone call I've ever had with him about supplying gravel to us.
I don't know, he
I
just,
didn't know either.
I just think if somebody's willing to donate it, then we let them donate it. It's the money, right? That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense too.
And maybe he just needs a reminder, you know, just a friendly, hey, are we gonna do gravel this year?
Does it need gravel or does it need a skid steer to move it around? Is it thicker on the edges or what?
Where, on the hill?
No,
Tag lot.
Ag lot. It needs a little bit of pushing around, and it probably needs some additional gravel down the middle there, where the potholes are.
They can use a little gravel.
Yeah.
Nothing, I mean, you could
It's not
probably get by
crazy,
with
because
just
we've done
scraping,
a lot.
move it a little bit,
Yeah.
and the potholes aren't horrible.
No.
It needs some crown in it so it'll drain, it's holding water in the center real bad, cause it's all burnt down there. It actually needs to be, have some gravel added to it, put some crown to it, put some bigger gravel in, and put some, lighter gravel on top of it, so we can get a crown to it, and then it'll drain into that creek there, that's to the west there of that parking lot. That would help it out a lot, make it last a lot longer.
So this is, we're talking about like that where the seniors park, right?
Yes.
And the ag shop.
Yep. That'll work.
So didn't we just have Ambrose or whoever do this wasn't that just last year?
Was, yeah.
So then regardless what we decide to do, I don't feel like they did a very good job. If a year later with just seniors parking on it, it's
And cause it's not like it's
holding
it's a
water
bunch of
and
big
things.
trucks in there, does it?
Well, we get tractor loop that comes through there.
one day.
We get all the football games that come through there.
You know,
TRA,
if you're just
TRA.
cars
Cars pulling
coming in
at
there.
a slow
But it's a
speed.
primary parking lot, guys, it gets used a lot.
I mean, I think the concrete sounds amazing, but I think you're gonna make a lot of people mad if we're gonna be talking about cuts coming and we're gonna,
Well, right now in your capital projects, we have about $420,000 in your capital fund for. that can't be used for anything else other than capital projects. So this is you guys discussing what you want to deal with. It doesn't hurt my feelings one way or the other. I just look at it and think, since we use this parking lot a lot, every day for school, every event that goes on there, not just school events, but everything from TRA to, you name it, basketball, it just gets a lot of use. You know, it might even be, do we wanna look at just paving it? You know, I don't know.
That will set off the bombs.
It's used.
Bob, your opinion, what do you think? You think a couple loads and a skid loader can handle it?
You'd be doing it again in a year. I mean, it's just,
Do you think we can build it up enough to get it to drain with just us? I was approached by a gentleman that said he would be willing to bring his skid loader up if we think we can do it with that.
I think Gene Gibson would probably do that as
He
well,
said he had that equipment.
because he's got Dylan and Seth that are hauling rock and
That's what
doing
he
that
told
kind of
me
stuff.
I mean, the cost of some gravel wouldn't be bad if we could get the time donated.
And I think Dean would donate the gravel, so. Is what he told me when he came back a couple weeks ago. Last week,
I think the concrete pad out front there would be nice, but as Amanda said, we go to pouring a bunch of concrete, I think we're gonna.
and I know I know we have our capital account, but that's not what they're looking at, so.
No, they're just looking at money spent. They're not,
How big was the approach, Dr. Robert, you were looking at?
That would go right there where the door is to ag, where they already have a pad there, so it'll line up with that pad and go all the way back.
Like over to the fire hydrant area or whatever?
Yeah, right there in the main entry. Yeah. So when they pull into that entryway, that's where kids will walk across as well, as where sometimes you see Mr. Twinner's truck pulled up there, or the van that's gonna pick up kids and they're loading right there. The bus kinda comes through there a lot now, because they're using it a lot. Ag kids are going a lot of places. Up to you guys.
To me personally, I think it'd be good to ask some questions and do some, just check around a little bit, and see if we can do
I
this
mean,
a
I'd be
little
happy to
bit,
talk to Dean if you don't.
a different way, yeah. And then
And see if what
see what other options are available.
He just told me he wanted to keep a good relationship with the school.
You may have
He said-
No, I
Yeah.
think he makes a bad one with us.
Well, I know, he just, I think it kind of offended him, I think, because he's always been willing to donate it and he saw bids in the paper. So I think it just kind of was like, oh, issue.
The only gravel he's donated has been over there that I've seen for his, since I've been on.
But he did mention to me that he would be willing to donate down by that building too, so,
I'm right, Chip.
I mean, if somebody's willing to
They
give it.
put quite a bit there in the approaches. Well, off the highway, looks like lately. Trees are out.
So what do you want me to tell you? What do you want? On our ag parking lot, graded, ag gravel,
And he's willing.
I just think, I think just generally speaking, I think there's probably people in the community that's willing to do some stuff to help our school in different ways. And the way I would approach it with him is saying, hey, we're looking at this as maybe something we want to address in the school. Heard you're interested, or that you may have some ability to help there, and just wanted to check with you to see if that's true or what you're thinking, that sort of thing. I mean, it would be, if he did something for us, it would be because he's being gracious, and helpful.
Okay.
So, I don't,
that was.
I think that's a good option, I mean, just to talk to him.
That would be my question, what does he expect to get from us for donating gravel?
Nothing.
Thank
I mean,
you.
I think he.
I don't think anything. He's alumni, his dad taught him. kids went to, well, one kid went to school here today.
Right.
But I mean, I think he parks some trucks up there every once in a while, I don't know.
Every once in a while?
I don't know, so,
He
I don't know where the
parks
property
there
line
daily. His trucks are up there and now they got feeders up there, so.
You wanna share that, anything with that, your
He
observation?
parks trucks there daily
Okay.
and stuff, and they bring them in and out all day long. I mean, not all day long, but they go out, come back in, right, through there. And he's doubled the amount there was gravel from when I've been here. He's expanded his gravel so he can park even more of his trucks there.
And I guess if we're gonna have Durham up there, you know, we're gonna have a lot more traffic up that way too.
Right.
I think for me, it would just be, I think we can maybe do some checking on some of this stuff. And I'm not sure we need to move on personally on any of this tonight. That's
Okay.
great. But if anyone else wants to do that.
One thing with the concrete, we got that, you're talking about that approach.
Yes.
I have a question. There's some pretty bad concrete. Is gonna be straight east of the foyer doors, you know, that wraps around, you know, it's all crumbling and
And the
going.
entrance into the high school.
Yes,
Like
That-
the main entrance there?
that needs addressed
ma'am.
probably,
That needs what?
addressed, I would say. It's pretty bad shape.
Yeah, between like the preschool.
Kind of where the
and
handicap
Correct.
is there too, in front of Miss Snyder's doors.
We need to, I think somebody needs to lay eyes on that, because you talk about coming to ball games, we got teachers that, well, I know they've got flat shoes on now, but sometimes they might wear heels.
I've had a few patrons over the years make some comments about where now we go into the daycare, where that used to be the handicap parking and coming up that. I think Kelly probably saw some of that today. But I've had patrons visit with me about that in the past.
But is it about the concrete? Is bad?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, when some of those individuals who have some,
Right,
need some support.
I get it.
Oh, God, like.
That's
me.
the.
Yes,
They left that for some reason, which I don't know why. But it is.
But I mean, I think if I was gonna, I mean, it's just my opinion, I think that needs addressed before we look at
The approach. Agreed.
Okay, so maybe lay eyes on that, Bob, maybe lay
And
eyes
there's
on
a
that.
spot in Ashley's too, right in front of her steps. Is it still like that? The concrete broken?
The biggest part is just the ramp on that, it's starting to crumble.
Like coming off the street, right there?
Oh, yeah, off there, that's, yeah.
That needs to be addressed too. Cause that's the only, like, handicap approach off the street.
Mhm.
It's right in the middle of that.
So maybe have Bob lay eyes on that, and then maybe we can get
Get you some orange paint.
get somebody up here to.
Paint some
We got a
areas.
whole list of them. So you can call them all back.
Well, I mean, what?
And you got one out here, could probably use a little attention.
Yeah, there's a bad spot out here, what about? Oh, I can't remember his name. What's that younger brown kid, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Don Brown.
Don Bro.
Don, oh yeah.
He's not doing it anymore.
But I think he is again.
Yeah, I
Is he?
think he is too, I saw something on
He helped,
Facebook.
he helped Whitson and Adam Belk as well. They're riding Anderson through, Bill riding Anderson through. I think they kind of come up.
I don't know, but I say we lay eyes on that, and see if we can. Because I just remember it being all crumbly and.
Get there.
All right, so we're gonna table the other one, is that the way I understand it? Okay, so moving on, consideration contracted custodial services.
Okay. So. Past year, in we have had 19 people that have worked through maintenance or custodial on payroll, part-time or full-time. Right now, only 2 full-time people working in maintenance custodian, Bob and his wife, Bob. We're using, Sharon's done, she did some part-time. We've got Molly working all day, and then pulling the hours in, on the weekend or, after school on the elementary side. She's also mowing her grass too, whatever. Then we got 1 student, Sam grew a lot, that does help for a few hours a night.
Couple hours a
Bobby,
night.
yeah. And, we probably have Bobby working 60 to 70 hours a week right now.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we have not had consistent help other than Bob and Bobby here for pretty much the entire school year almost. Bob came in November. But we talked a little bit about it, how could we get some consistent help? If we had 2 custodians and Bob can focus more on the maintenance aspect, so that's during the day. Your evening shift then would be handled by, and you see the bids from contracted services, what they would cost us. There is about a $10,000 difference between the lowest bidder, that's the one that actually does some work here locally, to provide the workers we need to just get night cleanup one. That's the ag center, that's the classrooms, that's hallways. Right now, if we did it on our own with someone who, if we actually could hire 2 of our own, that stayed consistently, it would cost us about, night janitors, about $86,000. That seems like a lot. Well, that's with their salary, with their benefits, with their retirement, because they're all in the peer system, in the state of Missouri. So it's not just their salary, they're not making $43,000 a year. All benefits they are. Problem is we can't find consistent help. So the bid there is a 1-year agreement. It also would help us if we had them in July, because right now we only have Bob and Bobby to do deep cleaning. Now, there's later on there's some students on the list to hire, and they would be part-time, to move out classrooms and things like that to take care of floors, but I really don't feel like we've got the workers. I don't think Bob and Bobby can wax every floor, clean every floor, and get us ready for a school year. That first bid is from Mint. That is how much they bid per month, and there's the companies that they're doing right now. The reason I like Mint, I think Bob and I both like them, is because it's a 1-year agreement. We're not tied into them for, I think some of those other bids were 3.
And this is with Molly still helping, right?
Molly would no longer have to help in the evening.
Well, what if she wanted to?
We wouldn't need her if we had this.
How many hours a year do these people work?
How many hours do they work? They would work until the job was finished, is what they told me.
Well, I mean, how many hours we're saying $15.29 an hour, so how are we getting up to 86,000?
I had Lisa run those numbers, I got them sitting on my desk, I had to dig them out again.
Because
It's gonna be contracted all year.
It's 14.5%.
Are they gonna strip and wax too, Mint services?
Yes.
They also do the carpet, they also have one of them big vans that does all the carpet cleaning, they do that themselves.
Steam cleaning?
Yeah.
40 hours a week at $15.29 is $31,803 a year.
That'd be a shot.
That's them working 2,080 hours, which is that's how many work hours are a year.
That's for 1 employee.
And I don't know if they've.
Add another $5,000 to that for the retirement.
Right, yeah, right, yeah. That was my question, are they working 40 hours a week?
Then add about $7,000 roughly for help
So will there be a 12-month, they're there with summer school to help and everything?
Yes. Yes.
Will their shift change, I guess, then for summer? Will they work days then, or will they work nights then?
I think we prefer them to work days when we're
Yeah,
there.
during the summer, they would work days.
What I'm asking is, did they offer that? Like, do we know that they would work days versus nights?
Yes.
So just so I'm clear, because I don't think I got Anne's question answered. We are working 8-hour days with our custodian crew
Yes.
on average, 5 days a week.
What's everybody's thoughts?
Okay, what happens like after graduation Sunday? You know, if Mint was contracted to do this, if they're just a 5-day-a-week workers, who takes care of the cleanup from Sunday?
Same people that's been doing it.
You?
Exactly.
Attaboy, Bob.
Or just leave it till Monday? We've done that before too.
Now, those other the Mint company, he pretty much, as far as changing the schedule and stuff like that, he was flexible on that. The other companies there, anything that they do extra would be an extra charge. Like if they would come in and do, after an event, that would be an added charge. If they do like after this graduation, which would be on a Sunday or whatever, that would be an added charge on there, which would be,
And I think that would be something that we would look at, and Bob and I have talked about this, when we have events, our own people would handle that, or a Molly, or somebody who wanted to work.
Right.
It would be overages on us, or OT on us, because that's hard to keep track of. We get ball games at change times, to all kinds of events that come up. It's an awareness of schedule, and Bob's kind of learned that. You kind of get pulled a few different ways, don't you, Bob?
Right.
Bob? Yeah.
Did he say how many he would send down to work? Is he just looking at 2 people?
I think it's two.
with both Mint and one of the other ones that I talked to, they would actually have 2 workers, but they would also have, like, per se, an accountant, like somebody that would keep track of the time and all that other stuff, and stuff that they use and stuff.
Cause they use their own supplies,
No.
they don't?
No. Now, that Mint company has their own equipment and stuff that they use.
Cause they use their own supplies for everything, so, just thought that it was included.
So I'm just assuming they'll put one in elementary, one in high school, kind of like what we would have done in the norm.
You know, we're getting what we need them to do, and it was in the RFP of cleaning they're gonna divide it among themselves, and how they're gonna do it. And then we get to quality control, make sure it's done the way we wanna see it done. It's bathrooms, it's classrooms, that's hallways, ag center, it gets pretty dirty.
How much of that cleaning has to happen during the off season? Thinking about basketball, yes, there's that one. But when I'm thinking about when school's not necessarily in session, I guess we have summer school, but we have July and August. Seems
July
like-
is usually when we clean, August, right up to the last minute sometimes, right, Ms. May?
Yeah.
Not anymore, cause I won't be here, but I've already told them, don't wait to have the carpets cleaned until 3 days before school. Please.
Which, that's kind of a tough question for me to answer, being that this will be my first summer, or when we're not having school in session and stuff like that, but there is a lot of projects going on, there is a lot of the like what Rob refers to as the deep cleaning, but pretty much there's a lot of them floors that need to be stripped and refinished. Which involves taking all the furniture out of the rooms and all that other stuff, and then you gotta go in there and you gotta clean it, and that's just that. And then it's gotta be blended into the hallways to where, you don't have a line there where stuff. Same with the carpet cleaning, everything has to be taken out of the rooms so they can come in and properly clean the carpets and stuff. But also this summer, we have the LEDAP program that we have to finish. We have several, faucets and stuff that's gonna have to be changed out as far as part of the grant and stuff. There's a lot of several signs we're gonna have to put up for non-potable water, so we have students drinking water out of the sinks in the bathrooms or whatever. It happens, they brush their teeth and stuff in them, so. Sometimes when we change up the filters and the HVAC units, a lot of them has, humidity beads in them that helps draw the humidity out of the air, which is a lengthy process. You gotta go up there to the shop vac and vacuum all them out and put the new ones in. We have the fluorescent lights that are currently in there, came out when they changed them all over to LED lights, which the first LED lights that came out still used a ballast, which a ballast is the main problem with any fluorescent light. So now these lights are now opened up that the ballasts are going out. I've already replaced 8 ballasts and I've got probably 10 more to replace this summer. So there is just a lot of things going on. We have a lot of prepping to do for in the field house as far as getting ready for football. The stadium out there, the stadium bathrooms, I haven't been used since last year. We've maintained them and stuff, but it's just a lot of stuff that we gotta get ready, and this might seem like a long period of time, but we're gonna really be crunched for time to get some of these things done, let alone just the standard deep cleaning that doesn't involve the stripping and waxing the floors. We gotta go around and clean all the return vents for the HVAC units. They've all drawn in all the dirty air, so they're all dirty. We need to go around and deep clean all the water fountains and everything. Readjust all the door closers. There's just, I got about a 6 or 7 page list of things that need to be done.
It says here on their service schedule, one shift is 8 a.m. to 4:30, and the other one is second shift from 10:30 to 7. Is that what they're planning on running the shifts?
I'm not sure that we ever set an actual schedule to it. They would be, as far as them cleaning the rooms and stuff, they'd be more for like after school from like 2:30 or 3 to whatever 8 hours would be.
Well, it's what it says in their bid. 2 separate shifts.
Which one's that bid?
That's the only one I think we have access to.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the others were so high, guys, I did not scan them to even, they were one of
I haven't actually reviewed their response to.
Because it's gonna be tough for them to get in, if they actually go by that shift, it'd be tough to get in classrooms.
Correct.
So we'll probably get some clarity on that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about at nighttime games and practices that end late, all that sort of stuff.
So is our staff gonna be in charge of cleaning up after games and everything like that, or will that be under net, like ball games?
that would probably be us.
Cause Bobby, it says here on the cafeteria, they wipe down tables, sweep, vacuum, mop, take trash out. So it sounds like they're going to have somebody here during the day.
I think our plan, what Bob and I talked about is, they're telling us, I think, generally what they're willing to do, Kelly. We don't need them here during the day.
No,
We can cover that.
That's what I'm saying, I'm just looking through the paperwork, that's what they're stating, so we're not holding.
They're strictly gonna be our night shift, clean up, get classrooms ready back, ready to go, get the floors ready to go, get the trash out of the building. So teachers can go back in and teach in a clean environment, clean restrooms, and get back for school the next morning.
Do they clean other schools, you know?
They do St. Andrews.
They do St. Andrews,
What says here, Tipton R6 School District, 1502 South Country Club Drive, Jeff City, Missouri. That's the address.
French
For
change
proposal. Just wanna make sure they show up here, not at the country club in Jeff.
Well, they do have a location down here, I think, the right location below.
Will they take care of you too, Dr. Rob, this building as well too?
I think we'll be able to handle this one.
Are there any restrictions for having high school students that want part-time jobs doing some of this stuff at night? Legally?
No, I'm aware of. So it doesn't interfere with school.
Those are
Supervision.
people you could pay that you don't pay
Supervisions.
retirement or benefits to because they're part-time people. It just seems like, I mean, like for me, I know like Carter's been one that, like I'm volunteering Carter. But, you know, it's hard for some of these kids that, don't, you know, they want part-time jobs, they can't get around town, and they're maybe, I mean, they may have kids that would wanna do stuff.
Like the basketball games and stuff, is that what I'm about? Or just an every night thing?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a couple hours, I mean, I just don't know if that's an avenue we've ever really looked down, and I know there's problems that causes too. But,
Bob, we've had one student worker, right?
that is correct, same girl.
But he's always here with supervision.
Correct. Which that is a drawback, I mean, cause you can't just turn him loose to go collect all the trash or go mop rooms, cause you know, he does need supervision.
is that because of liability purposes or some sort of regulation, or is it because we just feel more comfortable doing that?
I think it's just, hold on, I think it's just good practice, Bo, we shouldn't be talking about an individual student's job performance in an open public session.
I'm not talking about him, but just
In general, students
Yeah.
probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, I
in
didn't mean to talk about
classrooms
him.
Unsupervised.
So what your numbers, what I'm seeing is, you know, we're gonna pay, if we can find and keep you know, retain somebody to come every day, we're gonna pay roughly 86,000. Or we can pay 96,000 and have it guaranteed in contract that it's gonna be done and
Yes.
done well.
Yes.
Without, nothing taken away from the students, but without Bob having to set and, you know, guide somebody through.
Right.
And Bob can do his maintenance
Maintenance.
schedules.
Right.
But it's not 96,000, right? It's 8,000 times 12 months, right? Because the 96,000, isn't that the other bid? Or am I wrong?
No, it's 96.
Oh, I thought that was-
8,000 a month, 96 annual.
Yeah. Like, is my math wrong? Is that good?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, never mind, sorry.
Any other thoughts?
When would they start, Bob, for approved? Do you know, Dr. Rob?
I'd like to start in July, because that's when deep cleaning will start, whenever we, CM 3. they'll get the parents when they are finished. They pick them up in July, so they've got about a month there to assist. That sound about right to you, Bob, too? They're not really gonna be able to do much unless, might be a few rooms to get them started.
Yeah, cause we'll have summer school and stuff like that going on.
Yeah, we'll have summer school, we'll probably start on some rooms, maybe.
In previous, speak up, in the previous years during June, while the elementary is full, the high school is not, and so we've started in on the high school side, go ahead and with the classes that I have there, kind of locating them in some specific areas, or you can go ahead and get started on the other classrooms that we're not using, and things can start moving along more rapidly in June. They can pretty much have a lot of the high school done, with the exception of the hallway.
Do you know where we're at in rotation on wax? 'Cause we used to have a rotation with wax, are we?
I think we're so far out of it by now, Kelly, we just need to assess it and say what needs it.
I can't remember.
I was looking yesterday.
But June can
walked
get
around.
started in the high school area,
Yeah.
and that's what has been done over the last 7 years or more that I've been there. That's what
Which they actually do have a two-step process to that. 1 year, they do what they call an assurance, which is you kind of just lightly scuff the surface and put the wax back on it. And yes, there is, and I don't have that information with me, but there's certain parts of the school that needs assured and certain parts of the school that needs stripped. So they kind of break that up half and half.
That sounds like to me, if the board chooses to go this route, then you better get one like in June and next start in high school. I think the sooner the better to take pressure off the Bob and start getting stuff ready and then.
That's as long as they have employees, I think.
Oh, that's true. Gives them, they have a far better chance than we have.
Yeah, what, 19 people? Didn't say, or did?
I mean, we have to do something, and unfortunately, if you can't get anyone to work, then this is what you're faced with.
I mean, I think the public will understand, you know, to keep our facilities quality and clean and guaranteed clean, you know, we've seen flu pass through the school like water. To keep your kid from getting sick and you have to take off work, you don't have quality cleaning service to take care of it, I think it's a good idea.
When you gotta protect the investment.
Yeah.
Maintain.
Let's see if I can do this properly. I make a motion to accept Mint's bid for $8,000 a month, $96,000 annually.
1 year agreement.
1 year agreement.
So we got a motion on the table by Derek to accept Mint's bid. Second by David, all in favor. Passes 1, 2, 6, 0.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, 6, 1, I'm sorry.
Last
yes.
thing I wanna do that for the contract service, honestly, guys.
Who didn't vote?
You're at Bo. Bo.
All right, I'll move us into executive session pursuant to 610.021 to discuss 3, 6, and 13, to include Mr. Bob, Ms. Metter, Ms. Thomas, Mr. Robinson, Dr. Robinson, and Ms. Anderson.
We got a motion by Bo,
Second.
seconded by Derek. Bo.
Yes.
David. Yes. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Amanda. Derek. Myself, yes. So,
We hold here.